Good morning, travelers, wanderers, and pilgrims. How are you? It is Christmas Eve day. And no, not going for a hike. not not really. Well, actually, I'm doing a whole lot because I'm feeling a little like, oh my gosh. Uh, Let me add up the days. Today's the 24th, right? 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 4 days, and I'll be walking. And life changes. At least the physical aspect of my life changes. I won't have this wonderful place that I've been staying in for the last 5 weeks to rely on when I get home to a nice warm place. In some cases, I won't know where I'm sleeping until I get to the town that I've designated to arrive at. And that may not be the case. I'm writing a lot of churches and other places to inquire about sanctuary, because that's what they're trying to set up on the pilgrimage routes through England, the British Pilgrimage Trust and the St. Siegfried's Trust, and a number of the other organizations that have taken on the task of building out these pilgrimage ways. So it's been really, really interesting. I spent the last couple of months in Iowa or Illinois and in the Quad Cities area trying to do all this stuff. And I felt so paralyzed because I just couldn't wrap my brain around. I know it's weird. It seemed pretty daunting. All I had was a few routes and I'll show it to you in just a minute because I'm going to go through something here on the British Pilgrimage site. And I just had those routes and I had some GPX files and I didn't know what to do with the GPX files. I didn't know what to load it up to. I didn't even know what a GPX file was. And I kind of went through this paralysis analysis period but now it's all very, very clear. I figured it out thanks to a fellow by the name of Pete and a woman by the name of Beth at St. Siegfried's Pilgrimage Trust, and I can't remember the fellow's name at the British Pilgrimage Trust, but so it's really coming together, but it's just coming together at the last minute, so to speak, which is fine. Because life is full of adjustments and things sometimes happen at the last minute. And planning is not necessarily planning. Planning is what it is, and then there's what's going to happen and so on. But today is a perfect Wakefield day on the 24th of December. I think it's about 38 degrees. And look at that. That is just, I know some of you think I'm crazy. Oh, look, a train. We take passenger trains here a lot. This is probably gloomier than the Northwest is right now, I bet. I heard that the Northwest was looking at having snow, and I heard that the Quad is going to be 58 degrees today, which is... that area, it was like it was like 10 degrees a couple of mornings ago, and now it's going to be 58 today or something like that. So what I wanted to share with you is just the process of what it takes, because on the Camino, there are guidebooks galore for the Camino de Santiago. And so you can just buy a guidebook and follow the guidebook. It is such a well-traveled route. There's albergues or hostels in every village that you come to. And if they're full, you can get a pension. And if they're full, you're likely going to find somebody who will be willing to take you in for the night. But here, this thrust of developing these pilgrimage routes it has taken on a life of its own over the last, I don't know, maybe 10 years or so, and so or longer. But they're not as developed, and so you get the GPX files, but it's just a just a line on a map. Once you load it up and once you learn how to load them up, like, yeah, it didn't do so well. But once you've figured out all that out, you load it up to Guru Maps or load it up to OS Maps, which is a new program I just learned about, and I'll share a little bit with you. And then it just shows that it's a good dark line, and you have to zoom in to see exactly where it's going. But it doesn't tell you, it's not broken up into segments like the Camino de Santiago. It's broken up into segments. Each guidebook tells you, hey, no, start here on this day and end here on this day. And then there's there's 7 hostels in this village, or albergues as they're called. And a lot of the routes in Spain have guidebooks. The Via Francigena, which goes from Canterbury, England, all the way to Rome, some 1,900 kilometers, 1,000 miles or something like that, 900 miles, has a guidebook. And there's a fella in Seattle who's writing a guidebook in English, and he's broken it up into sections, 3 different sections for that whole entire route. And in the guidebook, it has all the different locations that you can stay at. It has all the route, places to stop at. I mean, historical places and things like that. So it is a process. And when you don't have that, you have to do it yourself. You can't just walk and hope that in 11, 12, 14, or 15 miles you run into a village. You've got to look ahead and see where it is you want to go, and see, I just got to make sure I make the right left. And the other thing about the Camino de Santiago and many of the other Caminos, Jakobsweg in Germany, the Via Francigena that goes through France, from Le Puy to Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, they're waymarked. In other words, there's a sign that says, hey, go this way. Not so much up here. You've got to really understand, I think, and maybe it's just my planning part, just wanting to do it right, or whatever. You've got to at least have a concept or an understanding of where you need to go at what point in time in any given place. And so it's been an amazing exercise to take a look at each of the segments and build them myself, and look at, okay, where can I stay? Let me get a hold of a couple of churches, email them, which I've been doing. I actually put some emails or some messages out to some Facebook groups inquiring for places to stay in. Voila, I got some offers. So that's been amazing. So let me show you what this process looks like in terms of, and I hope my computer doesn't do it again, because the last time I was trying this, it was giving me a heart attack. So let me show you this. This is the, here's my computer. This is the British Pilgrimage Trust, their site. And you can see that little green, that's a route. And if I it's going to give me there we go. And so, no, that's not doing what you think it's doing. Oh, now it's going to be a little bit of a pain, but let me just show you this. What I have to do is I have to combine the 3 different, what I'm doing is I'm doing 3 different maps. This is in Newcastle, in England, Newcastle on Tyne. This is the Tyne River right here. And if I were to be following this route, this green route, and I can actually zoom in pretty close on that. And you can see they've just got a straight line through here, but this is what it actually looks like right here. Let me go up to this bridge that we were just looking at. See, this really helps me understand that's a footbridge. This is what it really looks like. This is the route, how the British mapping or route looks like, sorry. And so what I do is I look at this and I follow it as closely as I can, and then I look to see where is it really going and what's really possible. And I zoom in and I can see all of the little pathways through here. And then I go to OS Maps, which is called the Ordnance Survey. When I learned some history about that, Ordnance Survey was developed by the military. And let me zoom out a little bit and go back to that one bridge so you can see how this develops. There's the bridge. And when I zoom in real closely, I can find these little dashes through here. And there's actually one under this blue line, runs all the way along here. This line I created, that blue line. So you can see I'm actually crossing the bridge. The way the path goes, oh, look at that. I grabbed it by accident. The way this path goes, it actually goes to the left, because when I look at this on Google Maps, this is all industrial. You can probably walk right up this little spot right here. If I zoom in close enough, you can see that little pathway that goes right up there. I love how I can do this. This gives me such a beautiful, comfortable feeling of how things are going to work for me. So I'm actually going to be staying in an area just down here. On this night, I'm going to be staying in that area right in here. Right there, as a matter of fact, at the end of that little road, I don't know if you can see it, if I'm holding it right there at the end of that little road, I'm going to stay there for one night. So what I had to do with a combination of using Google Maps satellite image and this mapping system called OS Maps, I've followed either roads or paths. These are legitimate paths. Like through there, there's an actual path, and I've found it on Google Maps. It actually exists, and you'll see it when I come up to it. There's the path right through there. You can see that little white line right there. There's the path, and I can follow these paths, and I confirm them as I'm going along to make sure I know what the heck I'm doing. And then I created this all the way up to, and I'm going to take this path, actually I'm going to take this road, and you'll see, watch what I do here. And it draws a line. And then when I'm ready to get where I want to go, which is going to be right, I'm just going to do this. So I'm doing it exactly as intended. Whoops. Go over here and hit plot again. It doesn't want to plot now. But anyways, so I'm going to be staying right in here somewhere. And and what I'm going to do is I come over here and I save it. And then I type in here that this is from, oh boy, I forget the name of the place that I was going to stay. Hendon, at a town called Hendon on the Wall, which is a town that's on Hadrian's Wall or near Hadrian's Wall. So right in here, I type in from Hendon on the wall to Newcastle, and I put in the mileage. And the mileage, it says it's 19.3 kilometers, and that's going to be somewhere around, I think, about 13 miles. So I'll put 13 miles in there and put a little description in. And oh my gosh, I want to do that now because I wanted to show this to you. Let's do it. Hendon, and I'll just put to Newcastle. Newcastle. I told you this is going to be raw. I'm not polished on this stuff at all. Look, I'm misspelling Newcastle. And I put in the mileage. So I'm going to put 13 miles. And watch. Then I'm going to make, now the great thing about this is that button right there. So OS Maps is available, of course, online, and it has an app. And if I make it available to everybody, anybody who's on OS Maps can see all of my routes. And if they are, so there's the full length of that route. That's from Hendon all the way to Newcastle, about 13 miles. And what's cool is it shows, I have to put in the difficulty, but it shows the elevation gain and loss for that whole entire route. And now it's a mapped route. And watch this. I can go here. I can put my routes, click on, and I can do this on the app on my phone now. It is live on my app on the phone. There it is. And I have mapped this route all the way from, let's see, I'm going to go to Roslyn. Well, we'll just start. Roslyn is about 14 miles from Edinburgh. And I don't have those ones in yet, but I will. So from Roslyn all the way to Newcastle is routed. And this is how I'm tracking it for the days. So I'm starting in Glasgow on the 28th, the morning of the 28th, and I'll finish in Kirkintilloch. Then on the 29th, I go from Kirkintilloch to Falkirk. And then on the 30th, I walk to Queensferry. I'm going to cheat a little bit here because I'm going to take a bus from there. It's, as you can see, 17 miles. That's 2 17-mile days. That's 2 long days when you're carrying 20 pounds on your back. So I'm going to catch a bus to Edinburgh. I'm going to stay in Edinburgh for 2 nights through the 1st, and then to Roslyn. On the morning of the 1st, I'm going to stay in Roslyn for 2 days. Why? See that name right there, Borthwick. That is my brother's middle name. That is my grandfather, Douglas Bailey's middle name. And that middle name is carried throughout one line of our family. And we're trying to, or at least my Aunt Shirley is trying to understand the connection here. I'll talk a little bit more about it. But Borthwick Castle is about 8 miles from Roslyn. So I'm going to stay in Roslyn an extra day and go out to Borthwick Castle. You will see that, and that'll be awesome. And then I leave on the 3rd for Edelston, and then on down to Peebles and Innerleithen and Selkirk. And all of that to the right, you can see, are the mileage. Sometimes they're short days, sometimes they're long days. So I can tell day to day where it is I'm supposed to be going, what day it is, when I'm going to be taking breaks. I started a new one over here. This is an involved process. This is not an easy process. And so I'm tickled pink to be able to do this. And like I said, this is just raw. None of this is staged. You're seeing it in the middle of the process. You're seeing the creation process. And I just showed you, I just finished one of my routes into Newcastle on Tyne. And then from there, I'll go to Sunderland. I'll stay for a couple of nights in Sunderland. And then I will pick up the Two Kings Way and walk along the coast. Yes. I'm saying that because I love coastal areas. I love walking on the beach. I love walking near the water. Water is so centering and so grounding for me. I love it. I'm really, really looking forward to that. And I'll walk to Whitby. So I still have those sections to do. And so I'm just tickled pink about that. And having this done, I won't finish it before I start walking. So on days when I'm on break, when I take a break, I'll continue to map out the rest of these things, and I'll of course leave some more videos and stuff. So there you go. That is what I wanted to show you today. We are in 20 minutes. I don't know how long these videos are supposed to be if you wanted to listen. But it's an amazing process to go through this. You get in your mind, at least for me, because my mind builds maps, and it remembers things that way. I can see, wow, like that's the terrain I'm walking over. Those are the things I'm walking past, especially with the way Google Maps has theirs set up where I can do street view, just to kind of check out an area and see what the area is like, what the terrain is like, and yeah, so an amazing process to go through, and I'm excited to share it with you once I start walking on the 28th. I hope you have an amazing Christmas Eve day. And if I don't leave a video tomorrow, I think I will tomorrow morning, live even. I wish you the greatest, wonderful day. And I want to leave you with this thought that somebody else shared with me. We get caught up in the gift giving. And my son said to me the other day, I asked him if he wanted anything for Christmas. And he said this most amazing thing. Sorry. He said, Dad, I don't want any gifts. I just want to spend time with you. Spend time with each other. Be present for each other. The greatest gift that you can give anyone is your presence. Talk to you guys soon. Take care.